Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. We've gotten a ton of requests from you to dig into the world of banking and scams.
Yeah, this is a really hot topic right now.
Definitely is, with all these new laws popping up trying to protect people from getting tricked and losing their savings.
It's a really complex issue, no easy answers.
Exactly. There's this great article from AARP just came out last week, December 5th, 2024. It's called New Laws Are Letting Banks Help Scam Victims. It's a really interesting read, and it really gets into the heart of the matter.
Yeah, and the story they used to open the article is really powerful.
It is. I mean, it makes you wonder, could this happen to someone I know? It's about this woman, Leslie. She's 79 years old.
And she gets this call, totally out of the blue.
Supposedly from the police, ND, the FBI.
Both.
Yeah, they're saying her identity's been stolen, her accounts are all compromised.
Oh man, talk about scary.
Seriously, I can't even imagine. And then, to make things worse, they transfer her to someone claiming to be an FBI agent.
And this agent, playing on her fear, tells her she has to withdraw all her cash.
Like serious cash, too, $10,000 to $20,000 at a time.
Wow, that's crazy.
And get this, they tell her to mail it to this secure location to keep it safe.
So they can just run off with it.
Exactly. And tragically, Leslie falls for it. Over 6 weeks, she withdraws a total of $165,000.
I can't believe that.
And she mails it all away as instructed. It's just heartbreaking because her daughters, they eventually realized it was all a scam, but by then it was too late.
All that money just gone.
Gone. And this is where those report and hold laws we keep hearing about, this is where they come in.
Right, because if Leslie's bank had the power to step in, they might have been able to stop it.
Prevent the whole thing. So under these new laws, banks can actually put a temporary hold on transactions if they look suspicious.
Like a red flag goes up.
Exactly, and that could buy some time, maybe prevent someone from losing their life savings. Florida's actually at the forefront of this. They've got this new law going into effect January 1st, next year, 2025. And one thing that's really interesting about Florida's law is that it specifically protects people 65 and older.
Recognizing that they're especially vulnerable to these types of scams.
Absolutely. And it's not just Florida either. About a dozen other states have passed similar laws: Minnesota, Connecticut, New Hampshire, I think a few others.
But here's the thing. Why hasn't there been a federal law passed? A national standard?
That's a really good question. I mean, it would make sense to have something consistent across the board, wouldn't it?
It seems like it would.
So let's break down how this works. Under Florida's law, if a bank suspects that someone's being exploited, they have to notify the account holder, but also a designated trusted contact.
Sort of like a second set of eyes.
Yeah, and then the bank has to do its own investigation, make sure everything's legitimate.
It's good they have that in there because you don't want them just blocking transactions without a good reason.
Exactly, gotta have that balance. And the law also protects the banks from liability if they act in good faith.
Meaning if they genuinely believe a scam's happening, they can step in without fear of getting sued.
Which is really important because in the past, banks have been really hesitant to interfere. They've been afraid of getting in trouble, even if they suspected something was wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 for them.
Right. So these new laws, they're definitely a step in the right direction, but there are some potential downsides too.
Like what happens if a bank mistakenly flags a legitimate transaction?
That's a big one. False positives. Could be a huge inconvenience for people, could even mess up someone's finances.
And what about those trusted contacts? What if someone designates someone who's actually dishonest?
Yeah, that's a scary thought. They could exploit the situation, use it to gain access to someone's money.
And then there's the challenge of training bank employees to actually recognize these scams.
Especially when the victims themselves are convinced it's all legitimate. The article talked about that, how difficult it can be for bank staff. It's a tough situation all around.
Definitely puts a lot of pressure on them to make the right call.
Yeah, it raises a big question about training and awareness. How do you equip these bank employees to spot those red flags, but at the same time, treat everyone with respect?
Right. You don't want to create an atmosphere of suspicion with every transaction.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance. So yeah, these new laws, they're not a perfect solution by any means.
No, but they're definitely raising a lot of important questions.
For sure. It's clear we need to take a deeper look at this whole issue.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot between protecting people and respecting their autonomy.
And making sure those safeguards are in place to prevent abuse.
Exactly. And that's a conversation that needs to happen at all levels, from individuals to banks to lawmakers.
Couldn't agree more. It's a complex issue with a lot of moving parts.
And it's a conversation we need to keep having.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, The goal is to create a financial system where everyone feels safe and empowered.
A system that protects people from harm without unduly restricting their freedom.
Exactly. It's a tall order, but it's one worth striving for.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes these discussions so important.
Couldn't agree more. It's about finding solutions that work for everyone.
Yeah, it's about finding that right balance. Well, this has been a really insightful conversation, but we're just scratching the surface here. I'm really looking forward to digging deeper into this topic with you.
Me too. It's clear that this is an issue that affects everyone, and it's important to stay informed.
Absolutely. So stay tuned, folks, because we're just getting started. We'll be back with more on this fascinating topic soon.